I am doing another leftover. I'm doing it from a different location because we have moved. I'm living in a mess, but then again, that's nothing new. We have moved from Perry, Iowa to Urbandale, Iowa. As I've thought about this a lot, I've thought, what is the last message I would give? If I only had a few minutes to live, what would I say that could help other people, friends and family and so forth? One message. And I've come to the conclusion that this is my message. There's nothing more basic, nothing more important in eternity. So I would say to everyone, to all people, the most important message in this world is that Jesus of Nazareth is the Christ. And therefore, as the Christ, everything that matters comes from him, including eternity in heaven, acceptance by God, a new life that is in full connection with God. Jesus is the only source of a life at peace, a life that has meaning. He's the only source of all ultimate truth, and that never changes with time. He's not trying to keep up with the times. He's the source of all physical life and health. And he pre-planned a purpose for every single life, yours and mine. The songwriter was really accurate when he wrote with zero overstatement, he's everything to me. And that's just as true for those who don't believe in him as it is for those who do, because he is everything to everyone. But he, Jesus, becomes alive in us when we believe that Jesus of Nazareth is actually the Christ, the Son of God. 1 John 5, chapter 5, verse 1 says, anyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. Secondly, the second part of what I would say, if I could put it all together into one statement, to those who already believe in Jesus and are already Christians, is the same thing that I've emphasized for years and years. Simply put, being comes before doing, not the other way around. Or as 1 John 5:1 says, learning to love God, who gave us new life, is our job. We have the life. It's our job to learn to love the God who gave us life. Being comes before doing. And what does that mean? It means that our internal spiritual development is job one. And only Jesus can do that. But he needs our permission, our devotion, our encouragement, our work for him. He wants us to do better, to be better. Those who believe in him, he wants only good for us. Now, many Christians, I recognize over the years, strongly disagree with that statement. But over many years, I've also come to observe over and over again that people who disagree with that statement have stopped in their spiritual development, learning to know Christ, learning to love Christ, learning to love other Christians. I am convinced every day that so many Christians are missing the truth. Being comes before doing. Loving comes before serving. I was still in high school when I began to notice that many prominent Christians were not good people. And of course, everybody else notices that too. At least not by the New Testament definition of a good person, of a spiritual person. I've seen so much anger, superiority, jealousy, bullying, sexual perversions and sexual lust, greed, dishonesty among Christians, while they loudly condemn those same things in others. Their constant message was evangelism, which is very, very important. Not knocking that. Reaching the lost, but never reaching themselves. Their own lives were shambles. And I can think of hundreds, thousands of examples. Of course, they would never admit that. But they were driving away more people than they were reaching for Christ. As a pastor, I have had a number of people say, well, I visited your church and I love your church and I would come back regularly, but not while Bill is there or someone else, because they are a bad person. People often have a good message, a message of Christ, but they're not good people. And sadly, Paul says that their good works do not count because it's not coming from love but duty. 1 Corinthians 13, the first 3 verses. How do I know if I have that love that God gives, that Christ gives? 1 Corinthians 13 lists the effects on the person who is actually being transformed by Christ in their lives after they become a Christian. My own self, I've been working on my life for many, many years, and not as well as I would like. But I can say with all honesty that I never had to learn how to do deeds. But I have had to learn how to do kindness, how to be kind and loving and patient. Being comes before doing, and being is a transformed person, a person whose very core is identified by what Paul calls the fruits of the Spirit, or Jesus calls the fruits of abiding in Him. The life of Jesus Himself within us. And so I would say, for a Christian, that is the first and most important work of every Christian, to be transformed inside us, to work on our being so that our doing is motivated by the right things. And it is work. It's not only the most important work, it is work. The best Christian counseling couple that I've ever known is a couple named Randy and Cheryl Keel. And going to them as a couple, which I have done many times, Cheryl's constant reminder was, are you doing your work? And by work, she meant looking at your own heart and its problems and working seriously on transforming your heart by the love of Christ. Are you doing your work? That's the first work. And that's it.